So recently, the Chinese government did something that's fairly innocuous, I suppose, where China is concerned, but that it's still kind of difficult to imagine happening in a country like the United States. Where they have introduced this law where they're going to be trying to restrict how minors play video games. And so people under the age of 18, they're not allowed to play for more than 90 minutes on most days. They're not allowed to play overnight. They are not allowed to make in-game purchases. And that last one is something that's actually being talked about in a lot of places because it essentially amounts to gambling. But still, it's really difficult to imagine that in our culture, where video games have become very prominent, very important, trying to force these things onto children. But it's also maybe not too far away from the situation that we're in because it's a really good example of paternalism. It's an example of what happens when a government steps in and takes over responsibilities that should belong to parents. And then when they take over those responsibilities, they also take more power in order to enforce them. And we do have some of that in the United States already. You know, we have situations where instead of following the pattern that nature proposes, which is that the people closest to children, the people who are the source of children, should be responsible for bringing them up and caring for them. Instead, we have a system where guys, when they just want sex, they can feel free to go get it because if there's a kid who gets formed as a result, well, the government will have programs to take care of them. Or you have women who don't want to get married because they have been taught that marriage is a form of enslavement. And then if they stay single, then there will be government programs again that'll help them make up the need of having a husband. Or even just in the more innocuous situation of a nuclear family where you have two parents. A lot of times those people still feel like they are unqualified to raise their own children. And that instead it would be better for bureaucrats and teachers to do it because they're the ones who are actually qualified. They certainly don't have the right. But if you give the right away, then the government's going to be more than happy to take it because that's more power for them. It's more chance to branch out into other directions as well. So if people want to avoid that, and I hope that even though I don't have children, I hope that people will because of that, again, that expansion of power, then they need to take on parenting according to the natural and, again, the biblical plan for it. You know, they need to be setting down rules and actually enforcing them. And yes, there's times where you have to show grace in those rules, and it's a good thing to do, but you have to understand for yourself the difference between grace and license so that you don't fall too quickly and too far into the latter. You need to be able to model good behavior, just the way that you live. If you want your children to be good people, you need to show them what good people look like, what good citizens look like. And the most important thing that you need to do is tell your children that you love them, but that God loves them. In fact, loves them even more than you do. And so much that he sent his son for them. You know, those are the things that really are going to make it if more people will do them. And again, I know that a lot of people don't even believe what I do, but this is another reason why we need to teach people about the Christian message. Because if people will do that, then we're just going to have a benefit right in this world. If people are taking care of that most basic unit of society, the family, then the government won't have to step in to fill that role. And if it doesn't, then that's going to mean more freedom for everybody. So those are just my few thoughts on this, and there's a couple other issues that I do discuss in the article that goes with this video, and you can check that out in the link that's below here. And if you maybe have some more thoughts of your own that you'd like to add or some questions about this, you can put those in the comments. Thanks for checking out the video, and until next time, keep looking up.